So I want to talk about this, man. Let's address this controversy right here. The Game versus Kendrick Lamar. Now, they are not in a rap battle. When I say versus, they're not feuding. But I have a strong feeling that The Game is going to diss Kendrick Lamar, and I'm talking about fully. It's coming up soon. All right. So if you haven't been paying attention, The Game appeared on Shannon Sharp's podcast, Club Shay Shay, and the conversation of who's the best rapper on the West Coast, specifically who's the best rapper from Compton, came up. Now, I don't know if the Game's PR team got Shannon Sharp to say this or Shannon Sharp came up with this himself, but out of nowhere, they start asking about the West Coast and Compton, specifically Compton, saying, and the Game said he's the best rapper for Compton. So let's listen to what the Game had to say. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike. Shannon, you should be cool. I'm giving you your credit, but listen to this. All right, listen to this. Fair use, fair use.
Definitely.
Definitely.
You still the best rapper from Compton?
I'm definitely the best rapper from Compton.
Definitely?
Definitely.
Who's the best rapper on the West Coast today?
Game.
Damn, that was quick.
Yeah, it ain't. That's it.
Ain't nobody getting at you?
Can't nobody out-rap me, man. And anybody that knows will know. Because people can't, even if you are, like, no one can do what I can do. Like, no one has my skill set. Because not only do I have the ability to wrap circles around people, I'm also with all the bullshit too.
Okay. All right. So, that's a fair assessment. I mean, if the Game, you're supposed to feel like you're the best. My thing is, I'm locking in on this, right? Why all of a sudden is the Game talking about being the best on the West? And I know these are questions that he was asked, but why are these questions coming up now? At all the years that he's been out, how come it can't be I'm the best in the game? You know what I'm saying? I'm the best in the rap game. Ain't nobody can out rap me. Specifically now, all of a sudden now that Kendrick is the quote unquote king of rap or king of the West or whatever the case may be, now all of a sudden the conversation is coming up who's he better than and all this other stuff. Now the reason I'm saying Kendrick versus the Game is because allegedly people were saying that the Game was taking shots at Kendrick Lamar on his project that I covered last week with DJ PM. His last mixtape, this Gangsta Grills mixtape that he dropped. The Game people kind of put puzzles together, the piece of the puzzles together to feel like he's dissing Kendrick Lamar. Now I feel like this, man. I feel like the Game is jealous of Kendrick Lamar. The Game has been itching him, and I think that the Game is going to end up dissing Kendrick Lamar like a full-fledged diss track pretty soon. See, when the Game starts promoting his albums, historically, last few years, there's always a beef that's attached to him. Like 50 Cent did. You remember? When 50 had an album to push, it was somebody he was feuding with. That is going with the Game too. Do you remember when the Game put out the 1992 album and all of a sudden he had a beef with Bink Mill? Then when the Game did the Drillmatic album, that was his last album that came out. All of a sudden he had issues with Eminem because he appeared on Drink Champs and they brought up Eminem and he was like, I'm better than Eminem. I'm better than Eminem. Eminem didn't say anything, but all of a sudden we had a Eminem diss track on Drillmatic. Eminem didn't pay attention to it. Meek Mill jumped in that last beef that him and the Game had, but Eminem didn't pay any attention to it, and we've completely forgot about that album. Now all of a sudden, when Kendrick is the king right now, and it's respectful, you know what I'm saying? The whether West Coast, East Coast, whatever, if you want to be the number one rapper, it's competitive, right? But I just think it's kind of corny a Game. And I ain't gonna say kind of, it is corny of Game out of nowhere to want to start dissing somebody. And I know what it's about. It's about selling records. You know what I'm saying? I think it's about getting attention to his project. See, go ahead and don't bullshit it though. You know what I'm saying? Because some people saying, nah, if Chuck had a problem with Kendrick, he would go ahead and say it. Well, let me pinpoint this. During the Kendrick versus Drake beef, the Game practically sided with Drake. If you don't remember, he didn't show up to the Pop Out concert. He dissed Rick Ross, who was going at Drake. You would think that, Drake and well, Kendrick would be, since he's from Compton, the game, I ain't gonna say have to diss Drake, but he would be pro Kendrick. But do you remember when the beef was happening? The game posted some type of video of like saying, like, kind of dissing. It was, to me, it was like sneak dissing Kendrick a little bit. Like, niggas think that since I know him, I got to be loyal to him. And I'm paraphrasing what it was. He was playing like Drake's record and stuff like that. So the game seems to have an issue with Kendrick Lamar being that number one. Maybe because he helped put him on or whatever the case may be. But I kid you not, I feel like a diss track is coming on that documentary 3, because he already kind of alluded to it a little bit on this last Gangsta Grills. But I think that he's gonna try to battle Kendrick. He does this every time when it's time to sell an album. The last few years, like, I'm like, come on, man, like, come on, bro. So we're gonna see where this goes. Now, if you ask me who's the better rapper, who is the better rapper in from Compton, or the better rapper from Kendrick versus the game? Because that's what it is. Even though he didn't name drop him, that's who people are alluding, like, it is what it is. Because what other rapper is big from Compton right now? So I would say I could see the game being better than Kendrick lyrically. Like, if you're talking about bar for bar, the game is one of the dopest artists out. So I'm not mad if somebody says Kendrick. I'm not mad if somebody says Game. What Kendrick has over Game, though, is Kendrick has classic albums, classic bodies of work. The Game does have great projects too, but Kendrick also has more hits than the Game, more notoriety than the Game, and has a style, right? The Game kind of just emulates everybody, which works, but it's hard. People don't put him in the Mount Rushmore because he just kind of uses the cheat code and uses different people's style. Now, the Game is one of my favorite rappers growing up. He's dope. But if I had to choose between him and Kendrick Lamar, man, I don't know. I think Kendrick is a better hit maker and makes. Let me see. How can I say this? The Game uses a lot of cheat codes because his projects are well put together, but a lot of them sound like compilation projects. But you can't go wrong either way. I think that they both have different rap styles, but the Game can rap his ass off, though. I can't lie. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard for me to decide, but that's a good debate. Kendrick versus the Game. You can't go wrong with either answer. If you say the Game is better than Kendrick, I ain't gonna debate you, and I ain't gonna say Kendrick. If you say Kendrick is better than the Game, I can't debate you on that. I can't. Both of them are good at what they do, and both of them are some of my favorite rappers from the West Coast. Period. So I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. Do you feel like the Game will wrap circles around Kendrick Lamar or vice versa? But I feel like the Game is jealous. I think that the Game is jealous and wants that spotlight because he hasn't really just been supporting Kendrick in this whole time. And you take the side of a Canadian over somebody from your coast, your city. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you gonna come back to this video and say J Red was right. The documentary three comes out next year. And I feel like in 2026, you're gonna see him take shots at Kendrick Lamar or flat out diss Kendrick Lamar. I would hope Kendrick doesn't go back and forth a Game because he just wants attention, but this is what it's really about. The Game wants to stir up controversy and stir up attention right now, before his album comes out or when his album comes out. But let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/ResView, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.